peace, unity, and welcome my conscious and unconscious family and friends. This is the all new Village Community Podcast, and I am truly your host of the show, JC, aka Afro Black, dropping nothing but the raw and uncut without any fear, as I use my mic as a spear to chucker you with liberated truth. I am your host and your native soldier in the struggle. My purpose and mission for this show is first to enlighten, inform, and engage. And I want to engage with all who claim to know the truth. All truth seekers and my native family, I welcome you. This show is dedicated to all our indigenous native ancestors and to all those who've carried the mantle of truth, and to every person with the ability to throw off the chains of comfortable habit and unwarranted assumption and move in a new, liberated direction that is guided by truth and observational evidence, no matter where that direction may lead you. My main objective and purpose here is freedom, mind, soul, and spirit. That being said, welcome to Village Community Podcast, and much love from our great universal goddess and mother of all living here and above.
DC in the house.
With your host, JC, aka Afro Black. The spirit chucker that shut down you sucker.
This is how we ride and roll. Soldier for life for sure. Hey. This is JC, aka Afro Black. And if you've tuned in, if you've chimed in and tuned in to the Village Round Table Talks. This is JC, aka Afro Black, and I am your brother from another indigenous mother, here to share nothing but indigenous truth to the people. Do you feel me? And so today I got a special topic I want to talk about today. I'm pretty sure some of my brothers and sisters have seen my podcast advertisement topic, which is, and I quote, American Indian Matriarchy and Religion. American Indian Matriarchy and Religion. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because it's a very touchy subject with many people. Do you feel me? It's a very sensitive subject matter to a lot of people. Of course, it's not to some, but it's a sensitive and a very touchy topic with many. And the reason why is because we, as American Aboriginal Indians, we are very spiritual people. We are very in tune and very in touch with our spirituality. But as a result of European colonization, we have a lot of confusion. We have a lot of miseducation. We have a lot of mislying, manipulated history being taught to us. Do you feel me? And so when it comes to matriarchy, you have a lot of people with a negative concept or a negative perspective of matriarchy. They don't truly comprehend it. They think they do. And that's the reason why. And the reason why they think they do is the same reason why a lot of people are not practicing or looking into the subject matter of American Aboriginal matriarchy. You have many people who are looking at it from the perspective of matrilineal or matrilocal. Let me show myself, because I know I got my avatar up, but I'm gonna let you. I'm here, people. I'm here. This is JC, aka Afro Black, and I am here with you this indigenous beautiful Sunday. Do you feel me? Sharing nothing but the raw and uncut. And as I told you, and as I said, talking about matriarchy is a touchy subject with many people for many different reasons. One of the main reasons is miseducation and a misconception and a misunderstanding of matriarchy and indigenous matriarchy, for that matter. Do you feel me? So I want to talk about it not only from the educational perspective, I also want to talk about it from a personal perspective, because at one time I used to be a Christian. At one time I used to be a Hebrew Israelite. At one time I used to believe in Pan-Africanism, but now I don't. Why? Due to education, due to research, caring about nothing but the raw and uncut truth. Do you feel me? And as a result, did it take me some time to let go some of those Eurocentric belief systems that I used to practice? Of course it took time. It took a good long time. It took enough time for me to research. It took enough time for me to realize the truth is the truth, and historical truth is the truth. Do you feel me? Not historical manipulations, not historical lies, not historical people implementing what they want it to be, but seeing it for the way it is, seeing it for the way our ancestors meant for it to be. Do you feel me? So when it comes to matriarchal, indigenous matriarchy, what many people don't know and don't believe, and some people have heard and refuse to accept, is that at one time, many of the Woodland Aboriginal tribes saw the deity from a female perspective. Now, you have a lot of people out there that'll tell you that um, the deity or the god does not, indigenous people didn't see a sex. You got Christians saying it today. Oh, my God is not a male or a female, but then they call Father God, the Son of God. That's a gender. You can't get away from that. Soon as you say Father, Son, you've created a gender right out your mouth, right out of your, right from your mentals. So you're lying to yourself and everybody else when you say God doesn't have a sex or a gender, because you gave that God, your God, a gender and a sex. As soon as you say Father, Son, or even like me, Great Spirit Mother, do you feel me? Which I fully embrace and accept. So that being said, my own personal journey on this was a very rough journey. It wasn't easy. And the reason why it wasn't easy, because it was hard to let go Eurocentric years of thinking, Eurocentric years of believing and believing that I knew what I thought I knew, but I didn't know what I thought I knew. So I have information I want to share. I have some things I want to read. I also have a video I want to play. I'm not sure if I'm going to get everything in that I want to get in today, because I'm only going to be on the air for an hour. I don't plan on being on the air for 2 hours. Um, and I tried to gather this information up, and I tried to prioritize it on my monologue, order, how I want to say this, because sometimes it's hard to get out the things that and put it on paper so that you can format it in such a way where people can, understand it or comprehend it. So I tried to do the best I can. One of the videos I want to show, though, is of a brother named Russell Means. Now, a lot of indigenous researchers out there know about Brother Russell Means. They want to call him a Native American. Some say, Native Americans have nothing to do with us as American Aborigines. I don't believe that. I personally believe a lot of brothers and sisters who've come on to embracing their cultural identity have a hard time accepting the fact that many of the so-called Native American tribes have came together with American Aboriginal tribes, and the Lakota were one of them. I'm pretty sure people out there who are familiar with Brother Kyrie Irving thank the Great Spirit Mother for that brother, and the reason why is because that brother found his roots. His roots was in the Lakota. You feel me? Now the Lakota are made up of, I believe, 3 different tribes: the Lakota, the Nakota, and the Dakota. The Lakota, the Nakota, and the Dakota. So there were 3 indigenous tribes that are related to one another. Kyrie Irving's mother was a Lakota, and she lived with her people on the reservation where she transitioned. Okay. That brother found out. Now, if you look at Brother Kyrie Irving, you'll say, oh, he's an American Aboriginal. That brother, the Lakota are American Aboriginal. But what I love about the Lakota is that they don't hide the fact that they are very matrilineal, matriarchal, matrifocal, matrilocal people that honor women. They held on to their indigenous prior to European colonization traditions, spiritual practices, and they hold on to it to this day. Thank the Great Spirit Mother that Brother Russell Means, before he transitioned, made it a point to share many of some of the things that many of the women and many of the elders, when I say elders, I'm talking about men and women in the Lakota tribe, Nakota and Dakota tribe, would not share with the populace. And so for some reason, and I believe it was the Great Spirit that was tugging at Brother Russell Means, he thought it was necessary to share these concepts, these matriarchal concepts with the populace, with many brothers and sisters who he knew were urban Indians, like myself and like many of my brothers and sisters who are listening right now. If you live in the city, you're an urban Indian. Okay, why? Because we're not on a reservation. You feel me? And so he thought it was necessary, and it was necessary. It was a good reason for the reason why the Great Spirit was tugging at his spirit and soul to share these secrets. I call them secrets because you don't have other tribes sharing what he's sharing. So I think I want to start this subject matter off of talking about American Indian matriarchy. And I think before we can understand anything I say about American Indians' religion, and I don't like calling it religion because American Indians never called their way of life a religion. Religion is a Eurocentric concept and a Eurocentric term for what they call spirituality. But our ancestors did not call it religion. It was a way of life. It was a way of breathing, a way of seeing, a way of thinking, a way of viewing everything around you. You feel me? And so before I share anything that I want to share as far as books that I also want to share, information that I've researched, let me share Brother Russell Means. Okay, I'm gonna put him up right quick. Let me grab that. Let me grab this right. This video by Brother Russell Means. I played it before in the past. Oh, why is it not coming up right now? Okay, there it is. I want to share this right quick, and I want everybody to listen very closely to what Brother Russell Means is talking about and what he's saying. Okay, let me play this, and I will be right with you. Hold on for a minute. Give me a minute as I load this video up.
naturally. My God, we're men. We don't live as long as we know nothing about purification from within. So we have to create our purification rites. Hence the sauna. Or people believe in another life. You have to. People believe in another life. You have to. It teaches you that there is another life. So we can't leave our ancestors. That's home. That's like leaving family. Can't leave our family. Our family is too beautiful and too strong. So we don't want to leave them. We keep ourselves together. In small villages. So the white man comes over from his cities where he's been crippled. From a society that is fear-based because it is patriarchal. See, in a matriarchal society, it's not that women rule. Women don't rule in a matriarch. There's female-male balance. Just as there's female-male balance in the universe, there's female-male balance in all of this life. So who are we, the most humble beings on earth, who are the most vulnerable beings on earth? We're even more fragile than a flower. There's flowers that will grow through snow. Bare, naked. We can't survive in snow bare naked. So here we are, learning to live with the female, because the female teaches men how to nurture. To put it simply, it's much more than this, but there's this balance, and we seek to maintain that female-male balance. And the females live longer than men. Duh! You know? The human female is the only being on earth that's been chosen by the Great Mystery to be purified with the moon. With the moon. They're purified naturally. My God, we're men. We don't live as long as we know nothing about purification from within. So we have to create our purification rites. Hence the sauna, or the inipi, the purification lodge. So we have this, and they teach men how to nurture. If you don't know how to nurture, then you're going to be afraid. And in that fear, you know, my ancestor, Chief Luther Standing Bear, who wrote a book, first part of this century, called My People the Sioux. And he wrote another book, The Land of Spotted Tail. No, The Land of the Spotted Eagle. I'm sorry, The Land of the Spotted Eagle. And he said, if you don't know the forest, you will come to fear the forest. And what you fear, you will want to destroy. That's patriarchy, because they're out of balance. The first living thing they fear are their women, because they have no understanding of women. Women have this other sense, which the white male calls, what is it called? I lost it.
Intuition.
It's called intuition. That's what he calls it. I call it sacred knowledge. This ability to see things clearly. This ability to feel. And think of the woman, how she goes from a child into a woman who is naturally purified. And she goes through this life, rearing children, teaching men how to nurture and be in balance, and then reaches the change of life, in which she becomes the elder that lives longer than men and has this full woman power. Until you know a woman, you'll never know life. And so our ceremonies here on this earth are to celebrate womanhood, to learn minutely So we go through the inipi, the purification lodge, the sauna, so that we can feel, have some little notion of what it's like to be purified. And we go through the Sundance and tear our flesh and create the blood, because we want to have a minimal understanding, at least, of what childbirth is all about when she tears her flesh and gives her blood to create life. What is patriarchal societies the world over? I don't care if it's Islamic, Judaic, Christian, Hindu, Buddhist. They're all male gods. I've yet to see a male anything give birth. I'm sorry. So
Okay, everybody. I had some issues getting that video up. The reason why is because this system that I'm using, which is let me fix something right there. Be patient for a minute. Yeah, this system that I'm using, which is called Evemux, is, even though it's pretty much like StreamYard. Well, listen, it's two things. I ain't been on the air for, I don't know, 2 years. I'm more than almost it's been a while since I've been on the air. And then on top of that, even though it's like StreamYard, it's not totally like StreamYard. And I'm doing all this myself, so I had some issues getting the video up. But I got it up, and you saw what Brother Means was talking about. Brother Means was talking about the things that we don't talk about in the so-called Black American community. And the reason why is because we have so many issues with in our relationships with our sisters. You feel me? A lot of the problems that we're having have everything to do with us ourselves. You feel me? It has everything to do with us ourselves. It has nothing to do with our women. You feel me? But our women got their own issues. You feel me? And what does this have to do with matriarchy? Well, for one thing, matriarchy has to be totally understood on both spectrums, male and female. You feel me? We are American Aborigines, and we are male and female, and we have to understand our place as indigenous American Aboriginal Indians. And if we understood that, we will have a better relationship with our women. We'll have a better relationship with women in general. Number one, if us as men, and starting with our sisters and our mothers and our grandmothers, if we ridded ourselves of patriarchy, we wouldn't have a problem letting go Christendom. And Christendom does not bring peace to any relationship. Christendom does not bring peace to any home. Christendom does not bring peace to your spirit. Actually, it brings nothing but chaos. For one reason. Why? Because it has nothing to do with your ancestors. It wasn't what our indigenous ancestors, our ancient ancestors, our American Aboriginal ancestors, our tribal, and it was not what their practice, it was not what they were doing. And what they had their own customs, their own rituals, their own ceremonies, their own festivities that honored the Great Spirit. And we don't practice it. We're not honoring our ancestors. Why? Because we're not honoring the Great Spirit anymore. We're worshiping other people gods, alien gods. Why I call them alien gods? I'm calling the Bible the God of the Bible is an alien. Why? Because it has nothing to do with our ancestors. You got people out there trying to make it appear that, okay, well, it's a universal God who understands everybody's culture. Oh, I'm not going to argue that. What I'm saying is that it's not the practices, it's not the customs and traditions of our ancestors. And we should be honoring our ancestors by spiritually honoring our ancestors by practicing the customs and practices and religious practices of our people. Then we would have strength. Then we would have peace of mind, peace of spirit, peace of soul. Do you feel me? So that being said, and seeing brother Russell Means was trying his best to explain that, saying that we have, we talk. He did a good example talking about the forest. Somehow, when you don't understand the forest, you don't know the forest. What you did, then you fear the forest. And there's only two things come about fear. You either keep away from it or you destroy it. Good point, Brother Russell Means. May he rest in peace. May he walk with the ancestors as he's doing right now. That brother brought that out simple and elegantly, that we cannot fear truth. We cannot fear our ancestors. We cannot fear the things that they practice. You know what cracked me up? Growing up, I'm 57 years old. Okay, growing up as a kid and as a child and as a teenager, I can remember how many of the things that I see today, like what you watch when you turn on the cable channel, you seeing, all these ghost shows. You got a ghost channel. You got the travel channel showing all these ghosts, ghost hunters, ghost adventures, the Dead Files, paranormal activity and paranormal. You got all these ghost shows, and now all of a sudden, white folks. Let me say this: all of a sudden, white Americans, all of a sudden, in this present time, white Americans are in touch with the spirits, where at one time they refused to even believe or accept that spirits existed. They would say, "Oh, when you're gone, you're gone. You don't exist. You're no more." Now they believe. Now they believe because of what they're going through, because they're being haunted, because things are going on in their homes, because it's affecting their health, affecting them spiritually. And now they accept it. And now they realize that, you know what? Here on American Indian land, spirituality is real. And they know it. We know, we've always known it. We as so-called Black Americans have always known that spirituality, spirits are real. They exist on our plane and on their own plane. They're reaching out to us. This is the reason why the Great American Aboriginal Awakening is going on right now, because the Great Spirit Mother is reaching out, speaking out to her people to wake up. Now, that being said, let me share some information that I got. Okay, I got information I want to share. You feel me? Now, be the fact that I am a Cherokee. My grandmother was full blood Cherokee. Let me get this right quick. I like to share some information about the Cherokee. Okay, I want to talk about Woodland Aboriginal American Indians. I'm not trying to talk about, all the Indians. You got people out there and a lot of information out there and a lot of misinformation sharing things like when it comes to the Woodland Aborigines, which is all the South, some of California. You feel me? The first thing I want to say is that American Aborigines, people like the Cherokee, people like the Choctaw and the Ojibwa, the Oneida, the Natchez, the Caddo, and many other, other so-called Black American Indian tribes, that they were worshiping spirits. They worshiped spirits. They didn't, and what cracked me up is that these American so-called historians and archaeologists and anthropologists who put this information together, they give so much false information and they know better, but they do it for the sake, I guess, of their careers. They do it for the sake of their job, so they can stay on note with the other lying historians. Our people did not worship everything. Our people did not worship their ancestors. They did not worship spirits. They worship the Great Spirit that created the seen and the unseen, the all and the all-encompassing. That's who they worship. That's who they recognize, and that's who they revered, and that's who they honored, the Great Spirit. And I want you to know something that they don't like to talk about, that our people not only worshiped a female deity. Yes, you heard me. The Cherokee. Instead of speaking about all the tribes, let me speak about one of the largest tribes. And my grandmother is a part of that tribe. My great grandmother was also a part of that tribe, and all of my grandmothers and mothers in my family tree was a part of this tribe, the Cherokee. And if you want to talk about what band of Cherokee, I personally believe that my tree is a part of the Blue Holly tribe. I'm not sure if anybody know about there were 7 clans. There were actually more than 7 clans. There were 14 clans. Our Eurocentric educational system only want to talk about 7. And anybody who knows about American Indian history and culture should know that once the colonizers was dividing the tribes and choosing the ones they wanted to call civilized, like the ones they call the 5 civilized tribes. Well, many of it caused a rift and a split amongst many of the tribes, and the Cherokee was one of them. They literally split up. They did not want to align themselves with the colonizers. No, they didn't. They did not want to do that. They did not want to make a treaty with the colonizer. The same as the Seminole. The Seminole was split in half. Many of the Seminoles said, no, we're not making a treaty with them. We're not aligning ourselves with these colonizers. So as a result of that, you got many people today that act like the Cherokee doesn't matter. Oh, everybody call themselves Cherokee. No, you colonizers like to call yourselves things that you're not. You colonizers like to steal people's identity and people's culture and make it your own. But I'm here to let you know that's a changing. We are taking it back. We're taking our culture back, our identity back. And there's nothing you can do about that. Now, that being said, what I want to say about the Cherokee, the ancient Cherokee, prior to European colonization, Cherokee people honored a female deity as the sun goddess. And I want to show you something. Now, this is not widely talked about. It's not broadly talked about. It's practically not talked about at all. And I want you to know it's written in the history books. It's written in the history books. And that's what I'm going to show right quick. I want to show this. All right. I want to show. Let me show this right quick. And this is from the Oxford Dictionary. Okay. Okay, if you can see this, let's make it bigger. All right. Now, okay, let me make it a little bit bigger. Make sure everybody see this. Now you do see this right here. Huh? You see this just like I see this. What does it say? Cherokee sun goddess. If you want to know where I'm getting this information from, let me show you where I'm getting this information from so you know what it says. The Oxford Companion into the World of Mythology. Of course, they want to call it mythology. Go look up the word myth and research that word. Anything that colonizers want to mar in confusion, they want to throw it in the abyss where people are afraid to go check it out, afraid to go read it. And if they do go read it, they don't read it with any seriousness. They read it like it's a comic book. They throw it in the abyss of mythology. Okay. But everybody know myths either have a seed of truth or myths are the actual truth. And so we're talking about history right here. Okay. Just like, they call the Greeks, they call the Greek, all the Greek legends, they call them mythology, right? Right. Yes, they do. But I'm pretty sure anybody who has any education or educational knowledge know that Hercules, Zeus, Rhea, those characters were actually worshiped and honored by the Greek people. At that time period, in those times, those Greek people actually they had temples to them. They worshiped Rhea, they worshiped Zeus, they worshiped Hercules. So while they calling that stuff myth, it is actually historical truth. People did worship those characters. Now, let's go right here to what I want to talk about with our ancestors, the Cherokee. Okay. All right, let me read this right quick. Let me zoom in on it some more. Okay. And it says this: Cherokee sun goddess. The Cherokee indigenous of North America worship the sun as a goddess rather than a god. You heard that. Let me read that again. Let me read it one more time for all you guys out there who will say that's not true. Yes, it is true. It's sitting right here. And I got some more information to prove my point. And I got some information that's going to blow some people's hairs back too. And let me say, the Cherokee indigenous of North America worship the sun goddess, the sun as a goddess rather than a god. They tell a story about this goddess that is at once a disappearing god myth like that of the Hittite or the Tilipinu and a flood myth. You heard that. Now I can go into reading it more because they talk about the story right here. It goes, the sun goddess always visited her daughter her daughter's house in the center of the sky during her daily trip across the heavens. And while there, she often complained that the grandchildren of the people, of the earth never looked directly at her, but squinted at her and then looked away. She was particularly jealous of the moon. Listen to here. Did y'all hear that? Listen to this. And I want you to hear this closely. It says that she was particularly jealous of the moon because the people looked up lovingly at him. Did you hear that? Now, it's saying that the people, our ancestors, the Cherokee at one time saw the moon as the masculine, the sun as the feminine. What's going on, people, today? Look like they reversed that, huh? I think they reversed it. What do you think? Because today, practically all the indigenous tribes will tell you that the sun is the male and that the female is the moon. Well, but that's not what it says right here in the Oxford Dictionary. It says that one time the Cherokee saw the God, the great one, the great spirit as the great spirit mother. Why I say the great spirit mother? Because it says the Cherokee indigenous of North America worship the sun as a goddess. So that means she was the great spirit mother to the people. And it says down here, if you go down here where it says, when it talks about the story, it says she was particularly jealous of the moon because the people looked up lovingly at him with smiling faces. Well, that's because they can look at the moon and it wouldn't hurt their eyes. So one day, the sun decided to destroy her ungrateful children by remaining for a long time at her daughter's house in the center of the sky. Her prolonged presence caused a terrible concentrated heat to parch the world below. Desperate, the earth people called upon the spirit known as the little men for help. The little men, that's a whole nother story. The little men. I'm gonna talk about that real soon, but not today and not tomorrow. I'm on a matriarchal tip right now. The spirits suggested sending disguised men up to the sky to kill the goddess. The two men dressed as snakes failed miserably in their endeavor. So I don't want to get too deep off in this telling the story, but this is my point. Again, it says at the very top of this paragraph, the first small paragraph says the Cherokee indigenous of North America worship the sun as a goddess rather than as a god. That's what I wanted to point out. I really didn't want to get into the story. Anybody can go and read the story themselves. You can go, this is in archives, and the title of this book is The Oxford Companion to the World of Mythology. Okay, you can go check it out. Okay, by Leeming David Adams, 1937. Okay, so I got something else I want to share. Okay, I got some more information I want to share with you guys. So let me take this down and let me go grab the next one. Okay, let me go grab this one right here. Okay, here we go. I want to read from this one right here. This is also a good one, a good source. And I'm saying this is a good source because, in my opinion, in my conscious opinion, in my educated opinion, the colonizers still to this day don't want us knowing the truth of what our people actually practiced and how they did it. They want us to not know. They want to keep it from us because then we won't have to practice it if we don't know it. We can't practice something we don't know. They made sure when they came here that our people were assimilated, and the only way you can assimilate a people is to make sure that they don't have access to, that they can't re-educate themselves on their own cultural information. Okay, so this is another book I want to share with everybody. Okay, let me show you what it's called. It's called Cherokee Women. Cherokee Women, Gender and Cultural Change. Cherokee Women, Gender and Culture Change from 1700 to 1835. There you go. Do you hear it again? Cherokee Women, Gender and Culture Change 1700 to 1835. So let me go back and enlarge it. I want to read a specific part of this called Constructing Gender, page 27. Okay. On this page, and I did read it, it talks about the cultural practices that our people did during festivities and their way of their religious practices. Now, I find it quite odd, okay, when I read this, that it doesn't really go into any real detail about what they specifically did. Okay, well, it does, but it don't. Because it doesn't talk about the fact that they worship the sun god, but it does talk about some of their ceremonial practices. Prime example, let me go down here, page 27. It says, community well-being depended on the maintenance of spiritual purity. Now, we're talking about the Cherokee. Community well-being, community well-being. That means everybody in the tribe, everybody in the community well-being dependent on the maintenance of spiritual purity, which often manifested itself in temporal benefits. The Cherokee did not separate spiritual and physical realms, but regarded them as one. Now, y'all have heard many people say, and you've heard many indigenous elders say, that the spiritual and the physical are intertwined or connected. And this is evidence of that fact right there amongst the Cherokee. The Cherokee did not separate spiritual and physical realms, but regarded them as one. And they practiced their religion. You see this now, this colonizer is calling it religion. Mind you, the indigenous people never called their way of life or the way they practice a religion. But the colonizer who wrote this is calling it a religion. They practiced their religion in a host of private daily observances. Mind you, listen what he says, a host of private. That means it was not privy to the public. They kept it to themselves. They practiced their religion in a host of private daily observances as well as in public ceremonies. Purification rituals cured and prevented disease and prepared people for war, hunting, fishing, planting, house cleaning, childbirth, and other worldly undertakings. The focus of ceremonies, however, was a spiritual cleansing, and the medicine and the medicine Cherokees consumed during these rituals addressed spiritual as well as physical ills. Did you hear that? I'm going to say it again. The focus of ceremonies, however, was a spiritual cleansing, and the medicine Cherokees consumed during these rituals addressed spiritual as well as physical ills. You see? So basically, our people had their own way of healing themselves spiritually and physically. Our people had their own. And if you look at it, look at what they said. They said they focused their ceremonies. So they had their own way of worship. See, when you go to church, you're performing a ceremony when you walk into that church. And when you start to praise God, you get to dancing and you get to singing and you get to shouting and you get to listening to the pastor preach. That is a ceremony. So the focus of the ceremonies, however, was a spiritual cleansing. What do they do in church today? You go to church to get what? Spiritually cleansed. But the Cherokee had their own way. And mind you, remember, I just read earlier, I read to you in an Oxford book of Oxford Dictionary of Mythology. It said that the Cherokee people honored and worshiped a sun goddess. So they was looking to the goddess to heal them. They were looking to the goddess to purify them and to cleanse them, not a male god, not like we've been taught to believe. Now, to understand this and to accept this is also to understand and to educate yourself on matriarchy. Do you understand? You heard Brother Russell Means. He said to understand your own self, you have to understand women. That's because we come out of what? We come out of women. We come from women. We are birthed through the female matrix. We birthed through the female. We're fed through her as she eat and as she breathe. And they saw the women, the beloved mothers. Anybody know anything about the American Indian community? A lot of my brothers and sisters out there who know, we know that the women were called the beloved mothers. They were honored. And if these women were honored, And if these women had a high esteem in the community, in their homes, then who you think were teaching the children their spirituality? You believe that the mothers were teaching the women, teaching the children to worship a male god? I don't see that. I just told you and showed you that they honored a sun goddess. Now, what was her name? I'm pretty sure somebody out there saying, well, if they worship a goddess, what was her name? I'm going to tell you her name. She had more than one. She had more than two. Just like the male God that people go to the church every day, every Sunday, and you hear, oh, God, Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Rapha, how God has many names. Well, I want you to know the male God is not older than the female goddess. The female goddess was first. She's in, and the reason why many people don't know of her is because you're reading modern history. You're not reading prehistory. You're not reading her history. You're reading his history. You're reading what he wants you to read. You're reading what he wants you to know. For you to understand and know what I'm talking about, you're going to have to go read prehistory. Go learn some prehistory. Okay, let me continue. All right. Matter of fact, as I continue, let me put something on hold for right minute. Give me a minute. Give me a break. I got something I got to do right quick. Do you feel me? Hold on. And listen to this. Oh, it's okay. Okay, I'm back. My son, you might have heard me in the backdrop. My son get ready to leave. Should have turned my mic off. I didn't turn my mic off. Hey, but I'm back, people. Okay. And let me I got something else I want to share with you guys. All right, hear me go over here and show y'all some of this here. Let me show you this right here. Oh, no, not that right there. Yeah, okay. How about this right? I think this is it. Yeah, yes, is it right here. Oh, okay. Bear with me, people. All right, let me before I all right, here we go. This is right here. There it is. There we go. Here we go. I want to read this right here. Check this out. Let me make it a little larger. All right, here we go. Let me turn this down. All right, let me turn this down right quick. My freedom music, people. Freedom, freedom. Now, check this out. Here we go. This is a very good, a good story right here I want to read. All right, that talks about the Cherokee, and this is by us on a site you can go check out called Anchor of North Carolina. Okay, check it out as I read it. It goes, long before the arrival of the white man, women enjoyed a major role. My computer in the family. Let me get this off my screen right quick. Okay, here we go. Long before the arrival of the white man, women enjoyed a major role in the family life, economy, and government of the Cherokee Indians. The Cherokee originally lived in villages built along the rivers of the western. I pay no attention to that. They always try to make it seem like our people lived in teepees and huts and wigwams when that was their vacation. You know, just like when today when the colonizer goes camping, what do they take? They take huts and they take camping gear. Okay, where our people during during certain seasons went out as well. You feel me? They went out fishing. They went out vacationing as well, away from their homes. Now, if you want to know what our people lived in, they lived in houses. They lived in cabins. You know, this is where the colonizer learned how to build cabins from. By when they came over here and they came into contact with indigenous people, they saw cabins with fireplaces going on. You feel me? Now they want to act like that didn't happen. Well, we know the truth now. So let me continue on. The Cherokee originally, no, they did not originally live in, they did live in villages. Okay. The Cherokee originally lived in villages built along the river of the western North Carolina and northwestern South Carolina, northern Georgia, and eastern Tennessee. When the white man visited these villages in the early 1700s, they were surprised by the rights and privileges of Indian women. And this is just really astonishes me whenever I read this and hear stuff like this, that they were astonished. And then the reason why they were astonished is because they took all their women's rights. I want you to know at one time, European women owned the property. They owned the land. And if you go research and pay attention to a lot, especially a lot of these European movies where they're talking about going back in the 12th, 13th, and 15th century, you'll see that the women were the property owners. So men had to marry women to have wealth. We're talking about in Europe. I'm talking about in Europe. For these men to get wealth, they had to take it from the women. And a lot of the European men got their wealth from women, from wives and mothers and sisters and aunts. So let me continue, okay? These white men visited these villages in the early 1700s, and they were surprised by the rights and privileges of Indian women. Perhaps most surprisingly to the Europeans was the Cherokees' matrilineal kinship system, which I don't understand why they were surprised at that. In a matrilineal kinship system, a person is related only to the people on his mother's side. His relatives are those who can be traced through a woman. In this way, a child is related to his mother and through her to his brother and sisters. He is also related to his mother's mother and grandmother, his mother's brothers and uncles, and his mother's sisters and aunts. The child is not related to the father. However, the most important, and that is not true. I don't believe that our indigenous ancestors didn't see a relation to the father's family. I think more or less it was to make sure that that child stayed a part of the mother's tribe. Okay? It was because they wanted to make tribe was everything. Your tribe was your identity. Your tribe was who you are. You represented your people and your people represented you. And so if her children had to make a choice, then that would be taken away from the mother's tribe. And because the child is from the mother, born of the mother and of the mother's blood, they made sure that child stayed a part of that mother's tribe. So the tribes grew through the mothers. This is why when the colonizer came over here, and he saw many, many, many different tribes. You feel me? Many different tribes. And I want you to know the Woodland Aboriginal tribes were some of the largest tribes, and they were larger than many of the Native American tribes, the Aboriginal tribes. When you talk about the Confederacy of like the Narragansett, the Tuscarora, the Iroquois, these confederacies had many, 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 many tribes. Do you feel me? They talk about 500 civilized. I want you to know there was more than 500 civilized tribes. See, when they talk about the 5 civilized tribes, they're talking about the tribes that the colonizer chose to let everybody know these are the main tribes that we honor. These are the people that we say are Indians. Anybody else aren't Indians. You guys aren't Indians. No, y'all savages. This is what they were saying by saying that, because there were many tribes here. You feel me? This is the reason why they tried to write tribes off as if they don't exist no more. You feel me? Because they want to say the conqueror holds the pen. The conqueror writes the history. Well, we want you to know our great spirit mother is the one who wrote our history. It ain't got nothing to do with the conqueror or the colonizer. Do you feel me? So we're going to continue on. Now, as it was saying. Perhaps most surprisingly, the Europeans was most surprisingly, perhaps most surprising to Europeans was the Cherokee's matrilineal kinship system. In a matrilineal kinship system, a person is related only to only people of his mother's side. His relatives are those who can be traced through a woman. In this way, a child is related to his mother and through her to his brother and sisters. He also is related to his mother's mother, grandmother, his mother's brothers and uncles, his mother's brothers, uncles, and his mother's sisters, aunts. The child is not related. That's not true. The child is not related in essence. The child is not a part of his father's tribe. No. But the child does have a father. But the child, and this is what many people also don't know. Cherokee, Oneida, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Chickahominy, women, I want you to know, these are female names. Most people don't. That's another thing a lot of people don't want to accept. Yes, you got your name from your mother. You got your relation through your mother. You got your tribe through your mother. You feel me? We have to accept, we as American Aborigines, those of us who are of the Woodland Aboriginal tribes, we have to shed ourselves of patriarchy. And I want you to know it's going to be hard for many men because you got many men who refuse to accept that they are patriarchal at all. You got many men out there who are refusing to accept, to even acknowledge patriarchy or matriarchy. They want to believe it's just some type of female concept or some other way of bringing more confusion. No, it's not. You need to learn your culture, bruh, to know who you are. You need to accept the truth of your culture, the whole of your culture, not take pieces and parts that you want to accept. Not take pieces and parts that you want to reject. No. You need to take the whole of your culture. You feel me? And you got some people out there that'll say, "Oh, well, so now we're supposed to go out there and live in teepees, huh? We're supposed to go out there and no, like I told you, the teepee thing, the wigwam thing, the Eurocentric system has messed us up on that. They got us believing that this is the way our people lived. They lived like nomads in teepees or wigwams or, no, they didn't. That was their vacation spot. That was when they went fishing or when the men went hunting. They lived in houses. They lived in homes. They lived in apartments. Come on, man. Anybody know about the Anasazi? Talk about the Anasazi who lived off the cliffs and had apartments, 2 and 3 story apartments. Everybody want to act like, ooh. No, that was not ooh. That wasn't ooh. Our people have always done stuff like that. That's the way they lived. They had castles. Huh? Cities. Huh? Our people built cities that they lie about. Huh? When I was a kid and I used to watch them slave movies, 12 Years a Slave. Well, I wasn't a kid. I wasn't an adult when that came out. But we talk about, Roots the first generation, Roots the second generation. When you look at these movies and you see these colonizers going to places like Frisco and Illinois and you see these cities and they act like they built that. How can you build something and you ain't been here that long? How are you going to build something when you didn't have the knowledge to do it? I never forget when my son, my oldest son, when his senior year, my son's senior year, he in his English class, he wanted to know who built the White House. And the reason why he wanted to know who built the White House is because he heard white folks did, and he had a hard time believing that. When he saw me researching, he was like, "Dad," I said, "No, white folks didn't build a White House." Huh? No, they didn't. Matter of fact, most of that out there was already out there when they came here. And it wasn't called the White House. That's what they want to call it. And when we did with my son, I showed my son and we did the research and I showed him American Indians, American Aboriginals, the one they call African slaves. They weren't African. They were from here. They built that they call the White House and all that out there. They built that, and he saw that. I showed him that, and he took it and took that information, that research and some information to his teacher when he turned in all his work, and he got an A. They couldn't argue it. They couldn't debate it. You go do some research, they try to tell you that the Irish built that. That's a lie. Irish didn't build nothing. They might have built it later on when they refurbished it and they wanted to change some more stuff on it. But all that out there at the Washington Monument and the so-called White House and all that stuff was out there. It was already there. Most of that stuff was already there. All they did was go out there and refurbish it and renovate it and try to make it look different. So our ancestors built that. Now, what does this have to do with matriarchy? Again, for our people to have that type of unity, for our people to have that type of community and unity, I want you to know it was under the leadership and the honoring of the Great Spirit Mother, not the Great Spirit Man, not the Great Spirit Father. Okay? Let me go. I got some, what time is it? Oh, it's already past my time, but I got more information I want to show you guys. Do you feel me? I got more information I want to show, and I think I might just have to show this in another showing. Do you feel me? I might have to show the rest of this information not next week, but the week after next. I got some more information I want to show you guys. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna show you some of it right now anyway. Let me go and show you. I'm gonna shock some of my people right quick. Matter of fact, yes, I want to show you guys the name of the Cherokee goddess. I want to do that before I get off the air, because I know somebody out there saying he never showed us the name of the goddess. Okay, let me show you this right quick. Let me show my people this right quick. Come on. All right, let me this one. I'm gonna put this up. Also, I got some more. I got one more I want to show. Put this one up too. Okay, so let me let y'all check this out right quick. There you go. You see that? I know y'all see that there. I know you see that there. Uh-huh. Let me make this a little bit bigger. All right, let me read this to you right quick. All right, so let me read this right quick. All right, now the goddess Unila La Nuhuhi. It's hard to pronounce. Great Spirit, forgive me for messing that up. Okay, the Cherokee goddess. You see, it says the goddess and gods. Okay, now, let me read down here below. It says Unilan Nuhuhi is the Cherokee sun goddess. That's her name. Okay, her name means a practitioner of time, and she was responsible for dividing time into units. It is her routine passage through the sky that marks the seasons and divided night from day. She is a healing goddess who aids those who need assistance. According to an old legend, originally the earth had no sun until Spider Woman wove a great web and pulled Unilanuhui from her deep from deep within the underworld and into the sky. And although she belongs to no one, she is visited once a month by a mysterious lover who pleasures her without revealing his identity. So there you go. You heard her. There's her name right there. Anybody who sees it, that's her name. You can go research that. Okay. Let me go on to this next one right here. This other article Let me pull this off. Let me grab this other one to verify. Okay, I got more than one source here. All right, there you go, right there. Let me make sure we push this up right quick. All right, there you go. Here you go again. You see her name, Uni Lanuhi. Unilanuhi. Unilanuhi meaning the all maker, or all, or the appro, apportioner, apportioner. I don't know how you say that. My tongue won't let me say it right. A, apportioner in Cherokee is the revered sun goddess who bright lights warm and sustains the world. Unlike sun deities associated with destruction, Unilanuhi embodies nurturing and life-giving power, known as Uni Unet Lavu Lavuhi. She is the supreme creator and life giver in Cherokee mythology. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? I'm gonna say it again. She is the supreme creator. So how can somebody, if who can be above her if she's the supreme? Huh? Did you see that? She is the supreme and life giver in Cherokee mythology, credited with fashioning the world and maintaining cosmic harmony as the deity of time. Why isn't she talked about? I'm gonna tell you why I think she's not. I'm gonna show. Let me say this. Let me show this right quick. I thought this was interesting. What is this? Let me show. Where's it at? Right. Let me see. Oh yeah, right here. Let me read this. All right. Let me put this up right quick. Okay. You said. Let me read this. Now, this is an article on the studies of matriarchy. Okay. So if you go check this out, these are all books. These are all books on Indian matriarchy. So if you ain't got this and you want this, you might want to copy it down. You see what it says right there. But listen, check out this first paragraph I found very interesting. This right here. It says Central, North, and South America have long been havens of matriarchal culture. Did you hear that? Central, North, and South America have long been havens of matriarchal culture. What happened to it? He said havens. That means it was everywhere, amongst indigenous people. Central, North, and South, havens of matriarchal culture, which puzzled or outraged the Europeans recording it. That explains the reason why we're not hearing about it. That explains the reason why they've mythicized it. Huh? That's raw and uncut truth right there. Do you feel me? If you want to know why it's not being talked about, if you want to know why it's not being spoken about, if you want to know why you hear so little information on it, and why most people, most historians, most teachers are not really focused on it, educating the people about it, and maybe themselves don't know anything at all, is the reason why. Because the researchers, the Eurocentric researchers, the European colonizers have made sure we know practically nothing about it, because they don't want us knowing anything. They want us worshiping that masculine God out there that destroys everything, that creates war, mayhem, that kills and murders. That's who they want us to represent. That's who they want us to worship and honor. I don't think so. I'm not messing with that thing. I'm caught up in the love with the mama. Do you feel me? I'm honoring my wife as the embodiment and physical embodiment of the great spirit mama. I'm honoring the sun goddess. That's who I give all my love and honor to, the sun goddess. And if without the sun, we all are gone and doomed. Do you feel me? So let me read that again. Central, North, and South America have long been havens of matriarchy. Let me highlight that again. Which I'm pretty sure confused colonizers and outraged the Europeans recording it, depending on their level of cultural flexibility. Towards the end of the 20th century, besides increasing serious and reliable studies for Western scholars, indigenous American scholars have began offering studies of their own culture, like Jack Forbes, indigenous Jack Forbes. Do you feel me? Okay. Now I can go into, and I want to finish read. I don't want to go and continue into this. I just wanted to point out that paragraph. You see the rest of this right here in the mid to late 20th century, as matriarchy was being taken seriously, opposed to sustaining a cat call. A number of interesting studies of Central American matriarchies were performed, and he's naming these guys who wrote books down here and so forth. So let me remove myself from that. There you go. So I wanted to point that out. Now you see the name, and I want you to know the Great Spirit Mama Unila Nuhuhi. She has more than just that name. There's another name. I'll show that to you the week after next. I'll just tell you the name. Amana. That's her other name. Amana. 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 That's her other name. Okay, I want y'all to know that there. And I will break that down and show that next week. Not next week, but the week after next, not this coming Sunday. Every other Sunday I'm doing a show. I'm not doing a show every Sunday because I got too much going on. It was hard for me to get this together. Because my birthday was on the 19th of this month. And then my wife's birthday was on the 25th, which was just this Saturday. So I had a whole lot going on. And then I was trying to get the information together for this show. And I got a whole lot of more information, but I ain't got time to be showing all that information because it is already after 4 o'clock. I've already been on the air for more than an hour. I got things I got to do. I got more research I got to do, people. I got more I want to share when I come back. Do you feel me? You feel me? But I hope everybody have, kept up with what I've been trying to share. Our people, and I'm only starting with the Cherokee, but the Cherokee were not the only ones that worshiped the Great Spirit Mother as a goddess, not a male deity. You had many others like the Choctaw. Oh, you got some of the people to tell you in a minute, oh, Choctaw didn't worship a female goddess. Are you sure of that? Don't get me started. I'm going to show you something that you probably ain't never read or seen and probably don't care because you stuck with that patriarchal mind. If you stuck with that patriarchal mind, you're not going to care about what I'm going to show you. Because if I show it to you and you care, you're going to go research it. And if you go research it, you might get caught up. Do you want the red pill or the blue pill? Which one do you want? There you go. Huh? You got some men out there, some brothers right there. Let me get my talking stick. My indigenous talking stick right here. You feel me? Huh? Yeah, everybody, nobody called in. You can always chime in and join my show. I still got my toll-free number. It's open right now. Do you feel me? 518-425-1735. Again, that's 518-425-1735. And don't forget the key to get through the door. 967667. Do you feel me? Huh? 9. Excuse me. Did you get that? Huh? It's scrolling across the screen right now. First, the number comes up, and then the key to get through the door so that you can join me at my village chat room if you want to. It's 518-425-1735. And you need the number. Oh, the key is not 96, it's 976776. 97. That's the key, the code 976776. And you can join me in the village chat room and you can chat with me and we can verberate on this. Anybody who have an issue with what I'm talking about. Mind you, my show is not about arguing and debating. It's all about us coming together and communicating, creating dialogue, and sharing and educating one another. That's all I want to do. I just want to share with people. I'm not trying to debate with nobody. If you want to debate, you can go somewhere else and do all that. I'm not trying to argue with nobody who don't know. I'm not trying to debate with nobody who don't know. You feel me? Not on the real, to be real about it. I only share with those who are interested. I'm only sharing with those who are waking up. Do you feel me? That being said, I hope everybody join me, not next Sunday, but the Sunday after next. Do you feel me? When I'm back online, dropping nothing but the raw and uncut here on the Village Roundtable Talk. I am your host with the most, JC, aka Afro Black, here on the Village Roundtable Talk, sharing nothing but the raw and uncut. And I've shared some information. I got more information I could be sharing, but I really don't want to get into it right now. The reason why, because I got to get off the air, people. I got things to do, places to go, and I got more information I got to gather and make sure I file it away. So when I need it and I need to show it to somebody, need to share it with somebody, I got it and I can do it. Do you feel me? Also, you can find me on my Facebook, on the Village right there, the Village Roundtable Talks on Facebook. You can find me and you can message me. You can also message me through my email, mrblackbones@gmail.com. Again, that is Mr. Blackbones, MRBLACKBONEZ You can contact me that way. If anybody want to contact me, if you want to join me on my show live, send me an email at mrblackbones@gmail.com. There you go. That being said, I gotta go, people. I got things I gotta do and places I gotta go. I gotta also more research I got to do because I want to show people what I'm learning as I go on this journey and learn more and more about my own culture, learn more and more about my ancestors. I want to share that with the people, my journey. You feel me? And I want people to come on and share their journey with me. Do you feel me? So that being said, I gotta go. I got things I gotta do, and I'll be back next time. And I'm going to do a part 2 to this. So I'm going to continue this American Indian Matriarchy and Religion, part 2. Not this Sunday, but the Sunday after next. I will continue this subject matter. Again, American Indian Matriarchy and Religion. That being said, people, I got to go. I'm outie. Peace. And as always, may the Great Spirit Mother be with you and keep her wings of peace around you and keep you secure. And as I always like to say, because I love chicken, love, peace, and chicken grease. I got to go. I'm out.
This is how we ride and roll. Soldier for life for sure. This is how we ride and roll. Soldier for life for sure. This is how we ride and roll. Soldier for life for sure. This is how we ride and roll. Soldier for life for sure. This is how we ride and roll.